Get this party started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lounge. It's Free Gift Friday. It's the Friday party. And one of the things that we love to do on a Friday is to get together as a group and just have conversation about the things that support our businesses. And then we give an opportunity for maybe one lucky winner, maybe everybody who joins us, who knows, give an opportunity for one lucky winner or many lucky winners to win a free gift from our special guest. Hi, everybody. For those of you who are within the sound of my voice who do not know me, may I please introduce myself? I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. I host this amazing group of women called Ladies Power Lunch. And it's just a place for women who feel really, really strongly about the idea that, you know what? We're not here to tear each other down. We're actually here to build each other up. We're here to support each other. And that this idea of the rising tide that lifts all boats is not just an idea. We are here to put it into practice so that I win and you win and every single one of us wins. So that's who I am. That's what I'm all about. And this show is about how we can increase our abundance, our reach, our income, our time, freedom in our lives through the work that we do in the world, the passion that we have for the thing that we do in the world, supporting our clients. So, special guest today is Shannon Daniels. I adore Shannon, and I just want to share her amazingness with all of you. Shannon, would you be so kind as to share with everybody who you are and what it is that you do in the world?
Yes, and thank you for that amazing introduction. I hope I live up to all the hype. And the feeling is absolutely mutual. So thanks for having me on today. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today on Free Gift Friday. Who doesn't love a free gift? Woo woo! I am Shannon Malkin Daniels, and I am the founder and CEO of Incaptive, which is a platform that hosts virtual, hybrid, and in person events with all kinds of cool engagement features and branding, and you can build community around it. And so, my special space in the world is my goal is to help people connect with one another and make deeper, more meaningful connections as opposed to just a passing hello, which those are nice too. But I want to help build relationships, whether it's virtual, hybrid, or in person. And so that's what I do. I'm also an author. I'm the author of a book called Water Yourself, a practical guide to weed out the bad, get more good, and live your dreams right here. Yay! And we're going to be talking about some of the stuff from here today and how we can use these self care techniques to grow our abundance and to just be more at peace with ourselves and the world around us and be more productive and healthy and happy in general. And I'm also a TEDx speaker and a communication nerd. I love all things communication and public speaking. That's me.
So, guys, one of the things that I love to remind us all is that we tend to, because we're all members in the group, we're all chatting with each other all day long, every day, we tend to forget the amazing expertise that is sitting in our Ladies Power Lunch group. All of these women just ready to support you, to help you along your journey to growing your business, growing your abundance, and living your optimal life. And Shannon is no different. Shannon, would you share with us a little bit about how you came to be doing this work? Because I know your life has taken a few twists and turns and you've done a lot of different things. Can you share with us what's your why? Why are you doing this? How did you get here?
Yep. And thank you for that question. It's a great question. I actually come from a background of I'll take you back to going off to college. When I first went off to college, I actually was a double major in aerospace and mechanical engineering. I figured I'm going for aerospace already. Let's just throw the mechanical on. It's another 32 credit hours and I'll be double majored in that. I wanted to design rockets and planes and cars, and once I got into school, I loved the design aspects. I loved the engineering and the problem solving aspects. What I didn't love so much was math. So I am not a numbers gal. Don't love the math associated with it. So I changed my major a few times and landed on liberal arts, where I studied communication, marketing, and writing. They called it letters. And then I went on to get my master's in interpersonal communication. And through all of this, I built a career in sales and marketing, where a lot of what we did in order to fill our lead pipeline and to generate new business was a lot of presentations and events. So I trained sales teams on how to present. We hosted events. We developed events. We went and presented at events. We had booths at events. So my life included a lot of presentations and speaking and events. And eventually, after I was climbing that corporate ladder, I was doing really well in a young age, making six figures and all of that. I just found myself becoming more and more discontented in the corporate space. And it's not that I didn't like the work that I was doing. It was more so I just felt kind of stifled. I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur and just didn't know it, because I always have all these creative ideas. So I left, and throughout that time in corporate, I started having a lot of health problems. And I started going on my own journey to figure out why my health was so bad. And it turned out that I was allergic to soy, and doctors didn't figure that out for about 10 years. I figured it out after getting a holistic nutrition certification. And so I started, and so through this, I started helping friends and family and coworkers, and said, you know what, I really enjoy this. I'm going to quit my job and do this. But I was also writing my book at the same time and realizing I wasn't taking my own advice. I wasn't taking the time to take care of myself. I wasn't putting myself first. I was doing everything for everyone else. And so it was like a double reason to quit my job. I wanted to go and help other people find their happiness, find their health, find the sunshine and the goodness in their life. But I also wanted to finish my book. I realized that as much as I love helping people, that wasn't the right path for me. I did get the book done. I got it published in 2014. But I went back to my first love of communication and started communication coaching. And this is my long way of getting to what I'm doing now with Incaptive. I found that regardless of which atmosphere I was in, the corporate life, the entrepreneurial life, coaching people and working with people, or I actually taught public speaking and communication at the college level for a number of years as well, I was seeing the same problems with presentations and events being very one-sided, a lack of audience engagement, a lack of tracking, a lack of measurement. And so I wanted to make presentations and events more engaging and more measurable, and also to improve the conversion success of that. And that's how Incaptive was born, really. It came out of a need that I saw across multiple different areas of my life, and saw that other people were having the same thing. And so I set out to create this thing. If you had asked me, a number of years ago, that if would I be in running a tech company, I would have said, you're out of your mind. But I've kind of taken all those different backgrounds and that windiness of the love for the engineering and creating and problem solving, the communication skills, all of it, and the coaching, and being able to pull it all together into one thing.
Awesome. So some people who are joining with us have never heard of Incaptive before. Can you just share just a tiny snippet about what exactly it is that Incaptive does? And for those of you who don't know, Incaptive is the platform that we use to invite you to come join us in our meetings. So Shannon, tell us a little bit more about what Incaptive is.
Yeah, it's a platform for virtual, hybrid, and in-person events. And so basically what you can do is you can treat it like a conference, and you can host multiple concurrent sessions running at the same time. There's expo booths that can be set up in there. There's networking rooms. There's also what I'll call offline or static networking, where you can view all the profiles of all the people that are part of the community or the event and contact them and DM with them. You can connect with them on LinkedIn. So there's a lot of engagement activity that happens in there for community building and connecting with one another. There's branding, there's sponsor ads, there's offers. So basically what you see in an in-person conference or event, we've taken that and moved that into the online arena. So you can host a full-fledged conference or event. You can use it for a community building tool. We have a lot of people that have ongoing series, things like what Ladies Power Lunch does, in addition to your conferences, having your weekly Free Gift Fridays and other webinars and things. You can use it to host a series. You can also use it to host learning and development type activities. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that we've seen people using it. But at its core, it's a web-based portal where you can host your events, your webinars, your series, and build a community.
Okay. So, Shannon, you're a tech entrepreneur. You have had a life in corporate. You have also worked as an entrepreneur who works with clients as a coach in that health and wellness space. You have all this tremendous expertise and knowledge at your disposal. Can you share with us how can we increase our abundance in our business?
Yes. Mindset. That is really one of the biggest things. It's what we choose to focus on and how we choose to spend our time. So first and foremost, speaking about mindset, I'm going to go a little technical on you and hopefully it'll all connect with what we're talking about here and it'll make sense. But for those of us that are familiar with cookies, anytime we go to a website, there's a little pop-up that says, do you accept the cookies or deny the cookies? That's a way of putting a pixel on your computer or a cookie on your computer that way the next time you come back to that website, your preferences are saved, the information's saved, right? And so this happens across websites. And you may think of this like if you're going to Facebook.com, you start typing in FA, Facebook just automatically pops up, you hit enter and boom, you're on Facebook. But what happens if you want to go to another website that maybe starts with an FA? A lot of times we'll start typing it, we press enter and it just automatically goes to Facebook and we're like, that's not where I wanted to go. You got to hit backspace, type in the whole thing. It takes a little more time and energy and work, but then we get to the right place. Our mind works the same way. We create these neurological firing patterns of how we think and we feel. And when you're constantly thinking or feeling in a way of fear or in a way of I'm going to fail or in a negative pattern, that becomes your firing pattern in your brain. And it takes more work. You have to stop and ask yourself, is this the way I should really be thinking and feeling about this person, this situation, whatever it is that's in front of you? Or should I hit that backspace button, rethink it, and try to form some new patterns here in my brain, right? And so a way to start getting abundance is to increase your mindfulness of your thoughts and your feelings. And then once you become more mindful of those, you can start retraining your brain for positivity or for thinking in a new way that can help you to open up new opportunities and increase your abundance across all aspects of your life and your work. So mindset and the way you think about things, the possibilities that are out there are really important to growing your abundance. So I would say that's one of the big things. And when you do that, you start to shift other things in your life, and what you can focus on then changes.
So here's the thing. You were an engineering major. I'm coming from research. So, in a way, we're doers. I love lists. I love ways of just figuring out how to get things done. And so I would love for you to share with us. It's great to know, about the neurological firing patterns. That's important. But okay, how do we apply that in a practical way? What are some of the do's and don'ts that you would recommend for us to really make that mindset shift and increase our options, increase our opportunities, increase our abundance?
Yep. So those patterns are important, and that you have to stop and ask yourself when you're getting into a situation or you're maybe being held back from doing something, ask yourself, is this how I should be thinking or feeling? Reset, and then take a step forward, push past your comfort zone. Some other tangible things that you can be doing, because the mindset stuff can be a little hard to wrap your arms around at times, is make a list of the 3 good things that happened in each day, right? So write those down. put the good stuff at the forefront. You can also look at what are my fears, what are my blockers, what's holding me back, and start to tackle those one by one. Take them on head on. Find accountability partners, find people that are going to help you out. Another thing you can do is make a list of goals, which a lot of us are very familiar with. And we talked about this at the LPL Summit, is you have to turn those goals into actionable intentions. So don't just write out a goal and have this big lofty goal that you're going to go forward towards. A lot of times we get overwhelmed trying to take the 50 or 100 steps it takes to get there. Take those goals, break them down into smaller goals that are easy to chunk out and focus on, and then write actionable intentions that are going to help you achieve those goals. What do I mean by an actionable intention? Well, an actionable intention is something like, if you want to get 100 new leads for your business each month, right? Write down, what are those things that you have to do to get those 100 new leads? Is it, I'm going to post to Facebook every day between this time and this time. I'm going to post to LinkedIn every day via this, between this time and this time. I'm going to send 50 emails a day to 50 cold emails a day to my target audience. I'm going to XYZ, so on and so forth. So write down those things that you're going to do, when you're going to do them, how you're going to do them. This is similar to a SMART goal, but you're making it more of an action plan for achieving that. So that's another thing you can do. And then using your no muscle, flex that no muscle. I can't emphasize that enough. We as women tend to want to help and want to support and always say yes. But if you're always saying yes to everybody else, you're never going to get to say yes to yourself. So you have to make time to say yes to yourself. Schedule time on your calendar for yourself. Schedule time on your calendar to follow through with those action plans that you've put forth. And then hold yourself accountable to that time. So many times I've heard this from people, they schedule time for themselves, and I'll admit I've been guilty of doing this as well. Schedule time for themselves to do something, and then they don't treat that as an important meeting. They treat that as, oh, that's just for me, I can do that another time. The problem is we push that off and it never gets done. So don't reschedule on yourself. You are your most important meeting, right? Hold yourself accountable to you. You are important. Keep that on your calendar. And then one more piece of advice that I'll give, because I could go on for hours and I know we don't have that, is to focus on big rocks. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the big rocks, little rocks, and sand activity. But basically, if you start out by taking all the sand and pebbles and throwing them in the bottom of a glass jar or vase, and then you put in the medium-sized pebbles, and then you go to put in the big rocks, you're going to run out of space. There will never be enough space in that jar or in that vase for all of those things. However, if you tackle those big rocks first, put those in there first, and then fill that in with the smaller pebbles, they'll kind of filter in between the big rocks, and then fill it with the sand. The sand's going to fill in. You will have enough space in there. So how does that reflect in getting abundance and the things that you're trying to do? Well, it's the big tasks. A lot of times we're like, oh, I'll answer an email. Oh, I'll respond to this. Oh, I'll do this little thing, because we feel accomplished when we check a lot of those little things off our list. The problem is, if we keep focusing on all of the little things, the big things never get done. So tackle your big rocks. Make time to tackle those big rocks first.
Make time to tackle the big rocks first. I'm going to put a little interjection here, Shannon, because I think you said something that was so important, like don't reschedule on yourself. And I want to go even further on that, to say that our very own personal self-care needs to be one of those big rocks.
Yes.
And how many times have I'm such a great example of what not to do in life. How many times have I had, I'll give you a perfect example. Monday night, 6 to 6:45 is Zumba, and it brings my soul joy, and I love to go to it. And routinely, there's a patient care issue that I have to take care of, and it starts happening at like 5:30. And I just end up leaning into that, or I push Zumba off the table because I have to do some ladies power lunch related work or something that
Yep.
comes up. I push myself off the schedule just like that. So how can we, Shannon, be less like Dr. Davia and more like Shannon recommends by including scheduling ourselves in? How, I notice in your book, and I ask this question because I notice in your book, you talk about not only scheduling it in, but also saying what you're gonna do if you don't get to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
can we talk a little bit more about
Yep.
that?
So that goes, great question. That goes back to the actual intentions that I was talking about with goals, right? Writing down your plan for success. What you're alluding to is what I call the no excuses clause, right? Because things always come up. There's going to be things that happen. Listen, I'm not perfect. I wrote a book about self-care, taking care of yourself, watering yourself, putting yourself first. But listen, I realize things come up, family emergencies, work emergencies, different things. There's periods where you just have to go all in and roll up your sleeves and work around the clock, like what we were doing with So Victory Fest a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be periods where you have to expect those things to happen. Just don't make a habit of it. And so when those things pop up, when the unexpected happens, you have to plan for the unexpected and write, hey, this is what I'm going to do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time. I am going to go at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to go to Zumba class. But something comes up. What are you going to do? Your no excuses clause says, if I don't make it to Zumba class on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I'm going to go on Tuesday or Thursday to make up for it. That is no excuses. I'm getting it done. Right. And so it's setting yourself up for success, for bringing that abundance into your life by not letting those excuses get in the way. Because guess what? Life happens. It's part of life. Life happens. It gets in the way. There's going to be times that curveballs are thrown at us, or a wedge is thrown into our plans. But the best laid plans, right? But if you plan for a backup, it's basically a backup plan. If you plan for a backup, you're more likely to follow through on those things and get them done.
Awesome. I so love the idea that, you know what, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up if you don't live up to this expectation, but there is something else that you can do, and you have it already built in to the schedule. I love
Mm-hmm.
that so much. I
Yep.
think,
Yep.
have to be honest, reading the whole book, that was probably my biggest takeaway. But can you share with our audience, if they take nothing else away from what you've talked about today, what's one big lesson that you want us all to remember?
You have to take care of yourself before you take care of anybody else. It's what you say often, right? What they say on the plane is put on your oxygen mask first so you can help other people. Then you can put the oxygen mask on other people. Because if you don't put the oxygen mask on and you pass out, all those people you were planning to help, they're not getting help. It's the same thing. If we're not taking care of ourselves, for those of you who don't know what water yourself means, water yourself is a form of self-care, right? It's about putting yourself first, taking care of yourself. Think about a plant. When you don't water it, what starts to happen? The leaves start to wilt and wither, and it starts to kind of come in on itself and wither up, and eventually it'll die. And you see this happening with a plant. So it's a visual trigger to, oh, I need to put water on that plant so it doesn't die. But we don't see that happening to ourselves. A lot of times we don't realize it until it's too late, until we're in the hospital, or until we're completely burnt out and down for the count and need a mental health day, or need to go get put on some kind of medication to help us get through the difficult times, right? Whether it's physical or mental. And so what watering yourself is pick a plant, any plant in your home, and water it. Every time you water that plant, let it be a reminder that you also need to water yourself. You need to put the oxygen mask on yourself at that point in time so that you are getting that self-care. You're making sure you are fully watered, you're fertilized, you're full of nutrients, you can grow, you can be healthy, right? Because if you don't water yourself, you are going to wilt, wither, and die, and then you are not going to have abundance. You're not going to have success, and you're going to be good to nobody else. So take care of yourself first and foremost. That is the biggest piece of advice I can give you. And that's where exercising that no muscle comes in more often too.
I just love, 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 love that recommendation. And here's the reason why. I am a brown thumb, and it's not because, of my complexion, which is so beautifully brown. It is because I have not really been able to be very good at keeping green things alive in my space. And yet, is it really an allegory for how also I treat myself? Is it an allegory for how I sometimes put myself at the back of the line, cancel on myself, reschedule on myself so that I can get everything else done for everyone else? So
Mhm.
I adore this reminder. We like to talk a little bit about things that we can use in our practices, like hacks, any life hacks that you might have thought of, any
Mhm.
resources, any technology, any applications. And yes, use and captive, it will make your life a whole lot better. We have, and it certainly changed the trajectory of Ladies Power Lunch. But any other technology things as the technology expert in our group that you might want to recommend for us?
It took me a while to get on the Slack train, but at this point in time, I am obsessed with Slack because I can have different customer channels and keep all those communications separate, but they're also instant. I can have different channels for different lines of work. I can upload documents and use it as a repository. I can even use integrations with other tools that I have that work straight through Slack. So, for example, when someone shares a Google document with me, my Slack pings me and says, you have a new Google Doc shared with you, right?
Wow.
I've got my HubSpot extension built in there. And so I find Slack to be an amazing communication tool that has really made things run so much smoother for me and my business, has saved me a ton of time and energy. And my customers tend to really, really like using it and communicating with us that way. The other tool that I found to be really valuable is HubSpot, but not just HubSpot from the perspective of having it be a CRM, but I use the HubSpot extension with my email. And what happens is every time I send an email, since the extension is put on it, it automatically logs that email and puts it into the CRM for me, tells me if it's been opened, if it's been read, when and how. It can track phone calls and everything. So now work that was taking me time to go, okay, now I've read this email, now I need to go log it in my CRM. It's just all automatically done for me. And it also has meetings that get scheduled in. So I can just, when I'm sending an email using the HubSpot extension with the click of one button, I can add my meeting link to my emails. I can also set up templates in HubSpot that with the click of a button in my emails, if I'm sending those marketing emails, those sales outreach emails, I can choose the template I want, click a button, and boom, it automatically fills in the subject line and the full email. And I can just make the minor edits that I want to get it sent out to whoever I'm sending it to. And this is all part of the free HubSpot. So it's not even the paid version of HubSpot. So those two tools have been huge, huge, huge help for me.
I love that. It's always good to see, what the entrepreneurs who are on the leading edge are using so that we can also fall in line and use tools that support us in our business. We have a great group of women who've joined us over in the Ladies Power Lunch group. I want to say thank you to all of them for joining. And of our members who have joined us over there, Sorabel Martinez, Wendy Lee, Jewel Vitek, and Elizabeth Hill are winners of wonderful, wonderful prizes from you today on Free Gift Friday. Can you share with everybody what they have won?
Yeah, so we are going to be sending out copies of my book, Water Yourself, to all of those ladies. I think Elizabeth might have one, but that's okay. We can send another one to her. And then we are also going to be sharing for any of you that are planning upcoming events. I am going to be sharing with you a copy of my run of show template. And what this does is it helps you to lay out your entire event run of show and make it so much more seamless, so much easier to do. And this is something I normally, when I'm doing for clients, will charge thousands of dollars to do for them if they're planning events with us and using our services. So I am going to be giving away that template that people can use. It's in the form of a Google Doc. It'll be view only, or sorry, a Google Sheet. It'll be view only. Just make a copy of it, make it yours, and you can start editing that template.
Guys, let me just say that I have had the opportunity to work with Shannon on supporting some of our bigger events that we do for Ladies Power Launch. And she's amazing. And this that she is sharing with us as a free gift today is such a generous gift because having that run of show is what helps things happen in a more seamless way. And I'm not saying that, when you have an event that nothing will go wrong, but what you can do is you can mitigate. You can make sure that fewer things go wrong. So
Yes.
this is so great, Shannon. So generous. Thank you so much. Not only
My
for, of
pleasure.
course, the free gift, but for sharing your gifts and talents with us here today. And I also want to say that Sandra Goldman is another one of our Free Gift Friday winners today. I will post all of this in our Ladies Power Lunch group so that everybody can make connections and get all their free gifts. Guys, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you today. And I just want to leave you with one final little piece of housekeeping. We are in the last phases of getting organized for Ladies Power Lunch Fall Summit, which is in October. Accompanying our summit will be an anthology, and we have room for a couple more authors and speakers for our anthology and also on the stage to be with us for Summit. If you are interested in being a part of this outstanding event, the theme is this new idea of leadership. If you feel like, you know what, that sounds like something that I want to talk about, send me a private message and let's have a conversation about it. I welcome you. I'm looking forward to hanging out with all of you at Summit. Of course, I'm looking forward to having many conversations with you between now and then. And guys, I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks